Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗏𝗲𝗏 Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree. Iyer. Joining me today is Maj Gen Rajiv Narayanan, and we're going to talk about what is going on between Pakistan, China, and United States. It was already in the lap of China, and now looks like Pakistan is flirting, or perhaps is in a relationship with the United States. To understand this, what are the implications for India? Because what you see with Pakistan today, perhaps might see the same with Bangladesh tomorrow. Sir, welcome to 𝗏𝗲𝗏 Guru's channel. How are you?
Absolutely fine, sir. Pleasure to be on your show after some time. Yes, interesting times. And I watch a lot of people screaming at the US for it. But my only issue is, if we talk of strategic autonomy, why are you scared of US going to X, Y, and Z? We talk of, should we do it in Hindi or English?
No, English mein chalte hain, sir. We'll say in English, sir. Yeah. Sorry, okay. I didn't clarify.
We talk of we being the fulcrum that the global North needs us. And on these small issues, we get scared. Now, this is nothing new for us. Let's be clear. That US and America were buddies and other things has been going on for a long time, since the 50s, I would say. So I'm sure we know how to handle this, but the situation here is very different from that time. Pakistan is in dire need of money because they are living from, I would say, from credit card to credit card. There is no money they have to return. So there is nothing available with them. When America left them after the war on terror was over, so they started shifting towards China. See, America had left them even once when Soviet Union was kicked out from Afghanistan. They walked out.
89-90, yeah.
Yeah, they walked out. They had nothing to do with the US, with Pak. Came back again after the rise of Taliban. Someone whom they had looked the other way when Pakistan was raising them. They funded them, CIA. After they came into Afghanistan and went to Iraq and other places, their attention went away from Pakistan, and Pakistan shifted towards China. Whoever gives them the money. That's why I call them the Airbnb on eBay. Whoever is the highest bidder for that land, they'll go to. Now they know that China is in the dumps at the moment. They don't have deep pockets, and their country itself, Pakistan itself, is in strife. The areas where they wanted China to come in is in strife, which they can't handle. So they're hoping against hope that the US comes in. And so they have played the US card now and hopped from China's lap to USA's lap. Muslim country. They're going to play a double game, not only with China, with Iran also. They talk. We don't know what happened in the lunch. It's a very nice thing to say that he was invited. I think Kate Marshall was summoned. Come. And we should not be concerned about it. Why? We have been very blunt with the US that it is not a ceasefire, what POTUS keeps saying, that it is a pause. And the telecon between Trump and Modi has gone viral now. What was spoken? You literally gave him a shut-up call. Why are you surprised that he's shifted towards Pakistan? The big egotist that he is, he still won't shut up and say that I tried to do it. I don't think he's going to get a trade deal, because it looks more like you are now going closer to EU and you may facilitate the breaking up of NATO. Okay, you cozy up to Pakistan, I'll boot you out from Europe. What happens to the US then? That would be the end of, as it is, he has disrupted the transatlantic relations. You can sort that out. And it is coming out loud and clear. And FATF has called out Pakistan. Now, what happens if FATF in September, October declares it a grey state? Where does that leave US? POTUS, not US. Where does that leave POTUS? And he himself, I find, is finding it difficult today within US how to manage. He's already fallen off with Elon Musk. They're trying to patch up somewhat. How much they can patch up when two people with king-size egos, bruised egos come, I don't know. And he's trying to do down 𝗟𝗙𝗙𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏. She's only said what IAEA has said, that they are some distance away, Iran is some distance away from making a nuclear weapon. They'd claim 60, I might put it at 80. You require 90 and above to get a nuclear weapon. So I won't go totally by what IAEA has said, that they're very far behind. May not be, because IAEA has not been allowed to go to those places to check. So now, does US need bases in Pakistan to tackle Iran? Pakistan would be very keen to give it in Balochistan, hoping that that might stall the breakaway of Balochistan. But then they forget that paper of the Republicans redrawing the borders of Middle East. And if he is going to call the very Republicans to come in, who stops the Republicans from actually working from inside to break it up? That's their paper.
Very true.
That's their paper. But then, as they say, beggars can't be choosers. He's hoping that that IMF fund will come. He's not hoping for the people of Pakistan. He's hoping more that whose pockets in US he can line, in CIA he can line, State Department politicians he can line, and how much can he and his people feather their nests abroad. The essence, what people have to remember is, US has come into something which was an artificial construct made by the Britishers and has been used by the Americans since the 50s. So it has no civilizational history. Not that the Americans have, but at least they are over 250 years old. Close to 250 years old. This is barely 70 odd years old. And we know how to work it through, and we will work it through. We have to grant our people that I sometimes I'm surprised when people say, what has Modi done, or what has the foreign minister done, or what has the MEA done? Are we talking that they don't know what to do? Whatever is done is a very well thought out, planned, and a structured statements which are given, with everything else having been worked out. When did Modi give his statement? After Munir was invited. And knowing fully well that if he accepts it on his way back, Munir will be there, and then again he will say, see, I was the one who organized that. So that is when the statement, and then the call, and then reading out the Riot Act to the POTUS. And that kind of statement in diplomats is reading out the Riot Act to Mr. POTUS, that enough is enough. But he is not understood. Trump doesn't understand, and a lot of people in State Department don't understand. They're still living in history that they are able to manage. They can't. If you check with the economists, which I keep reading, some of the US economists, they're very concerned that in the coming 3 to 4 years, if they go down this path, they will be paying almost a quarter of their revenue just to clear their debts. And it is becoming tough and it is becoming difficult. And now that you have found oil source, so your dependency on Middle East will also go. The US can't twist your arm and try to create problems for you through oil. Yeah.
General Rajiv, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Too many questions in my mind that I wanted to just kind of clarify here. Viewers, on Sunday, Sreedhar Chittiala and I will be talking about the progress made in the free trade agreement deal between India and United States. Some stuff that is very important. We can really reveal a few things, and actually it's working out to be a good thing for India. And this came about because of the G7 meeting, and there are some things that were discussed. So I just wanted to tell viewers that do come back on Sunday for that. And sir, in this meeting that Asim Munir had, did he also have the ISI chief with him, like that guy, the other Asim Malik?
No, it was one-on-one between Trump and him. They had their food together, and in this, see what happened in G7 will force the Americans to go back at least 4-5 steps in their trade deal. Just imagine the egg on his face. Before the G7, he made a statement, cutoff date for India, take it or leave it, is July, I think 7th July or
9th,
something.
9th, July 9th.
July 9th. Now what has happened? They've taken their steps back. So people will be worried that what is this fool doing? I literally am calling him a fool. He's become a buffoon, a caricature. He doesn't realize anything. That what is he talking? The moment this happened, and he couldn't, obviously after the telephone call, he couldn't face Modi. He had to run away from there. So people are laughing that what was so great? NSC is suddenly saying that I'm going to attack, and then you say, no, I give 2 weeks notice. If you had to give 2 weeks notice, was it necessary for you to run away from G7? And you ran away just before the PM of India landed, because you're going to be embarrassed a lot in G7. So G7, more than Canada, it was the tilt of EU towards India.
Correct.
The tilt of UK towards India. That has killed them. And Canada had no choice but to say about Khalistanis. But to balance it out with the US, he had to say that other thing also, that India does a lot of interference in Canadian politics. Right. But what is more important is calling out the Khalistanis. Though he may say that it's a small group, well, good luck to him. It's not a small group. British Columbia is controlled by the Khalistanis and the ISI. Now, he has not yet called out the ISI. So it is their PM Carne is a first-time politician. Wonder how much he would know. But now, what is more relevant is, I feel he may take a base in Gilgit-Baltistan. His bases may be closer up north, because that gives him a handle with Afghanistan to finger China in Xinjiang.
You're talking like Skardu.
Yes, not to base. No, Skardu is closer to us, maybe towards Gilgit or other side.
I see.
More to base his SF, not for his aircraft. Now, why would he need aircraft to be based in Pakistan to strike Western Iran, where bulk of his assets and nuclear details are available, when he has so many bases just across the Persian Gulf? Since he doesn't trust Qatar, he's taken away his air assets from Qatar air base. He obviously doesn't trust Qatar, because Qatar, like Pakistan, is running with the hare and hunting with the hounds. Now, if he has removed his aircrafts from Qatar, why should he need to keep aircrafts in Pakistan? For what? He has his just across 200 to 250 to 500 kilometers is the range, max 800 kilometers. He has all those assets available there.
Plus, they have refueling capability, sir. They have refueling in the air capability.
Why keep them here? What does he achieve? You have total. See, I can understand if you don't have air dominance, then you divide his assets. Today, you have air dominance over the Iranian airspace. They have no air defense worth its salt available to them. There's nothing available. So what are you achieving by coming here to this side, to the flank? I look at a basis for SF. See, he's already in Bagram. The SF is already in Bagram. So with those assets and others available, he could use Uyghurs. Americans are known to use other countries, non-state actors for their benefit to create problems in Xinjiang. So I look at more for Pakistan as a base to sort out China. Pakistan would be more keen to get bases into at least Baluchistan. I don't know how much Americans would agree to go into KP or FATA, considering their relations with covert relations, I would say, with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Pakistan would be more keen to give them 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗍 and other bases in Baluchistan, essentially to be able to have some say on its independence. Would the Americans love it? Would they work with them towards independence? That is up in air. Let us see what actually transpires, who comes where. But more, he has to be very careful how he handles Pakistan. I'm sure the DOD knows. The State Department always turns a blind eye of how Pakistan is running with the hares and hunting with the hounds. And would the DOD be keen to put anything there at the moment? I would rather go with SF rather than aerial assets, because Iran has nothing. There's no air defense left. And both Israel and US says that they dominate the Iranian skies. Iran accepts it also. The rationale for delaying their attack for 2 weeks, is he worried about attacks? Because how many missiles would Iran still possess? And more missiles would be available which are shorter range, which can target the American bases in the Middle East. Is he planning to build up, like he was talking of, shifting resources from Eurocom to CENTCOM? Is he setting up his air defense grid, strengthening the air defense grid? You can see the kind of havoc that has happened inside Israel too. People say Iron Dome has failed or air defense has failed. See, the air defense is good. Any system can cater for X number of targets. Now, unless it is layered in depth, unfortunately, Israel doesn't have the kind of depth that we also have. So unless it is layered and in depth, you won't be able to absorb, and some of them will surely get through. And that is what has happened, that missiles have got through. So, say Iron Dome can target 40 and I send 60, you will hit 40 but 20 will get through. And they will do the damage. So what kind of air defense grid is he planning? They have not yet targeted completely the Khadag oil fields, because that is the area from where bulk of the imports to China go. Almost about 90%. So that must be next on the hit list, to destroy that, to impact China further. He has deviated from his focus on China. EU has again come out, and G7, they have clearly said it is China. For India, it is China. So I would say, in a way, to put POTUS in his place is to strengthen your relations with EU, and that is the line I think India is taking. You signed the trade deal with UK. You're about to finish the deal with EU. The US, I think, will drag a little further. EU will come first. Safran is already in talks with you for your engine and defense. German Rheinmetall has already signed an agreement with Anil Ambani. They're 1,000 acres. They're making RT shells, 155 mm for you and for them. So these kind of deals, when it starts taking place, defense and other deals, then you suddenly find that the American MNCs will start feeling the pinch when they don't get the kind of market access that they feel that they could have got otherwise. It started well, but this man's push for Nobel Peace Prize has, I think, has churned up this situation. It is a funny thing that why he keeps pushing. It basically, he's in competition with Obama. If Obama can get it, why can't I?
I should be able to get it too. Yeah.
But I doubt he will. I doubt if he'll ever get it. He can forget it. He started by saying he'll stop a war, and during his watch, just it's not even 7-8 months, there are 2 more wars which have started: India, Pakistan, and Israel, Gaza.
Very true, sir. Very true. General Rajiv, I have a couple of questions for what we have discussed thus far, and then we can go forward, because I have some other questions to ask you also. First question is, moving assets out of Qatar is a big deal. Qatar must be really like sweating right now, because this was their huge USP, that we will do both sides and make both sides thrive, things of that nature. And if the assets have been moved from there, where is he moving them to? America.
He would be moving them to the other bases around in the Middle East. I don't think they feel very secure in Qatar. Like Qatar is to Middle East was Pakistan is to South Asia. Running with the hare and hunting with the hounds. So,
sir, you'll have the answer to this. See, remember that 7 or 8 naval personnel, ex-Indian Navy personnel, were sentenced to death, and then it was retracted. Sir, what my source tells me, this happened a few years ago, was that Qatar's Navy was filled with people from Pakistani Navy. And India said, wait a minute, why are we allowing these guys to go and, sit there? Why don't we also start applying for some of these jobs? That's how Indian Navy people also got in there. And somewhere, somebody has done mischief. ISI is number 1 at doing these kinds of mischief. And that's how that happened. What's your take, sir?
Yeah, that is how it happened, because ISI got very worried and they played their cards, and these people came. And India played their card, because see, Qatar, like quite a lot of these West Asian countries, Arab countries, has more expats than their own population.
Yes, yes.
And the biggest expat community, which literally runs Qatar, is the Indian expat.
Yes, yes.
India sent a warning to them that we are moving out all the expats. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Japan, they all wanted these people. He just came on his knees because that was what was the biggest worry. That if the Indians pull out, and the Indian embassy had already issued a warning to all these people that visa to Qatar would be terminated and you're going out, but you're getting visas to other countries. You decide where you want to go and you can go there.
Yeah, yeah.
2 minutes, Qatar on its knees, and that's it. See, a lot of these people don't realize the importance, like America has not yet realized. To quote 𝗟𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏, quite some while ago, 20 years ago, there was a TV serial made known as Iyer, Emergency Room.
Yes.
The first time when it was
George
made,
Clooney.
yeah, but first time when it was made, it was banned because the feedback came that how can you have an ER without an Indian? There's no ER in the US without an Indian doctor. What are you trying to say? Whites, they're all Indians there, and colored people. Whites are not there. So they had to go back, rewrite the whole thing, and they brought in a new doctor. Name started with some P, I'm forgetting, it's a long time ago. And rest is history. ER became a hit, basically telling that a lot of key appointments in the US, like in the Middle East, are held by the Indians. Indians work there. So that was the problem as far as Qatar was concerned. And they had to... And when it happened at that time, I had said that Qatar will not be able to survive because this is what will happen. And it happened. And he had to eat a humble pie. And so just to soothe this thing, a visit was organized. And but Qatar will be most worried. I agree with you that with the assets gone, the protection is gone.
Yes, yes. Yes.
So this is a direct threat to Qatar that if you play both sides, that is Iran and the other side, you will get sorted out now because there are no assets there, especially air assets.
Thank you for that. That was something new. We didn't know about this. And sir, about the number of missiles that are there with Iran. Now, Iran has some engineering capability to put together these things. I'm assuming that there are CKDs, knockdown things are coming from various places. In fact, today, United States has put sanctions on many Hong Kong firms. I think 16 or so firms were sanctioned today. That this is news because things were being smuggled through Hong Kong to make it look like it was not from China. Usual stuff, that smoke and mirror stuff. And the US has caught on to that. So the thing that people keep wondering is the amount of illegal oil trade that took place between Iran and China. See, my guess from Dubai, they said, look, one of the reasons why BRICS started concerning US dollar was that there was a fantastic amount of money being done outside the US dollar for petrol sales. For example, I'll give you an example, sir. Saudi Arabia did this, Iran did this. They were all getting digital renminbi for their oil that we're sending to China, and they had the option of converting that and getting paid in gold. Instead of the digital renminbi, they could get paid in gold also. Iran tried it a few times, it was satisfied. But this could be a Ponzi scheme, right? Ponzi scheme, what happens? First round of investors all get paid. That is how the confidence builds. And then after that, everybody is gone.
That's China for you.
Yes, yes. So is it possible that Iran had a much bigger oil outflow to China in exchange for perhaps technology such as the drone technology, parts and things of that? I'm just asking you to take a guess. You are you're a very keen student of all these things, and I'm sure you know more than many of us here.
That is how China works. and a lot of this oil and gas was also being smuggled via Pakistan.
Yes, yes. Sir,
And so
hence Maulana Diesel, sir. Hence Maulana Diesel.
So that was how Pakistan was all. See, I always said Pakistan survives on black money. They have no economy worth their salt. Nothing. Their economy has been black money, whether it be drugs or whether it be this oil and gas smuggling. There are shots all over from Balochistan and all the areas where there is no oil, that is, people are crying. Proper tankers to say that the Pakistan military doesn't know is because the NLC, the National Logistics Center, which controls all the movement of all these trucks and everything, is controlled by the Pakistan Army. So that is how Pakistan Army has survived so long and made so much of money, and their people have been making money. Now their complete funding, why has he shifted towards US and why is he agreeing to shift to cryptocurrency? Afghanistan has blocked off all the opium. Almost 90%, 95% of the opium fields have been burnt. So there is no drugs which are coming from
So one question, sir. To offset that loss of income, who is compensating them and how?
That compensation is coming from the US and the West into Afghanistan covertly. Like if they have left, people laugh that Americans ran away.
$45 million a week or something like that, right? Or $80 million a week from US alone.
See, if they've been given so many weapons which was left behind, how are they using it? How are they using it? Who's giving them ammunition? Right. So that is why I said the base, I think, is likely more like any other place is going to be a smoke screen. The main base I'm looking at is around Gilgit somewhere, along with the bases that they have. I know of Bagram. They will want to squeeze China using these Uyghur brigades which have been fighting in Syria, Iraq, and which has now come into Afghanistan. They are based in North Afghanistan, to use them to sort them out. So now they have shift only money that they were getting was from the oil, black market of oil and gas via Iran. Now, if that is also closing, with the battle starting, so though crypto is illegal in Pakistan, but he is ready to do it so that he gets his black money. So this cryptocurrency deal is on black money, on which Trump's family survives.
Sir, I have many questions. There are only two questions I'll ask because a lot of people want to have their questions answered also. Sir, please bear with me. Run a little bit over.
No problem.
First question is regarding crypto. One thing that the United States has decided. By the way, I did not know that US has got control of Bagram back, which means they had left a lot of.
They don't have control of Bagram. That is why Afghanistan can say that we have not given Bagram base to anybody. They, like in Nur Khan, one portion base was taken over by the Americans.
I see.
Not that the whole Nur Khan base was with the Americans. No, one portion. The base was Pakistani. Similarly, Bagram is with Afghanistan, but one portion, the SF is there. This much I know, that the US Special Forces are there.
I see. So, General Rajiv Narayanan, one change in US strategy in the recent past is, like, for example, let us say they sign a blockchain deal or some coin comes into play, and this part is, by the way, there is a stable coin proposal that is doing the rounds through Congress and Senate. See, what happens is you can't create something like this and not distribute the largest among others. So that is coming. Once that happens into law, that's when you can expect things of this thing in Balochistan to go. My question, sir, is United States as a policy does not believe in putting boots on the ground anymore. So they will have to come to an agreement with Balochistan, BLA and BRS and all the other entities who are struggling for freedom. So somewhere there's a limited autonomy, maybe there may be some sharing of the bounty or something of that nature. Do you think Pakistan will allow that? That is essential. Otherwise, there's just no way they can make this thing to work.
Does Pakistan have a choice? And from where does BLA and all these people get their equipment and funding to fight? See, that is why I keep going back to that map. And there was one more map I'm just trying to locate, 2013, where GB is supposed to be with India, and the first map, GB is supposed to be with Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But Balochistan is supposed to be independent. And if you look at the whole of the Middle East, which all have been the trouble spots, are exactly those areas which are supposed to lose territory. And you've created problems in all areas that are supposed to lose territory. So Balochistan will go. Does Pakistan have a choice? When you put your country up as a Airbnb on eBay, do you have a choice? There is nothing. Even a broken Pakistan, how will it survive without any grants and loans? They have nothing as economy. They didn't even bother to create the fundamentals of a good economy and have some manufacturing and other things. They used to have, like I remember, I think the Football World Cup, 90s, I think 94, or was it 98? One of the World Cups, the bulk of the footballs were made in Pakistan. They had a thriving leather industry which is destroyed. Now today, person is crying. Why? Because his trade of mangoes to Iran has been stopped. Mangoes. And that he can't get the black market oil and gas out. This is what the country has come down to. So I don't think Pakistan has a choice. And yes, it will first have to give autonomy there, like the Kurds have their autonomy. And once that autonomy comes in, then they are... See, that 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗡𝗧, that mine.
Yes.
𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗥𝗡 mine. What commentators are not telling, China has already invested there. They've not been able to take out anything. The same thing is it as per America keeps talking of rules-based international order. Damn good. Now, if one country has already invested there and done a deal, can you go there and buy the same thing? What rules-based international order are we talking about? And China has not been able to do anything out there till date. Why will the BLA permit? So the Americans have been sold the same thing. And it is not even the Americans. The Canadians came in out there.
𝗏𝗡𝗏.
Yeah, he's a Canadian company who says that these things are available. It is known. It's been there for donkeys years. Try taking it out.
Sir, last question before we throw open the floor for others. Are you done, sir? I'm sorry if you want to finish.
Yeah, I'm done. So as far as I'm concerned, I know this coming decade, Balochistan is going to be somewhat independent. There is just no doubts on that.
Sir, you are a very...
He is the chairman of the CMC today.
Chairman of CMC today, correct. The Secretary General, who do you think is going to be? I think the choice between these two.
No. My understanding, Wang Yang is going to be the General Secretary. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is going to be brought back. He used to be in the Politburo. He was to become the premier, not Li Qiang. And that is how he told a lie to Hu Jintao. And that is how when Hu Jintao tried to open, he took him out.
They frog marched him out. Sad.
Yeah. So now 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is likely to be the premier. And Wang Yang, Chang Yuzhia is going to become the
CMC
chairman of the CMC. And so that there is no collective decision making even in the PLA, there is going to be he had already made the National Security Commission. So in there, all these people will join together. Now the names being talked about is who else is going to be part of the Politburo Standing Committee. Will anyone from this man or Xi Jinping faction be there or not? Qiqi and Wang Huning, who was the great survivor, I think has finished with this survival. His days are over. He is out. He is out.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, last thing. Very many companies are now beginning to really feel distressed that China has put capital controls in place. In other words, taking money out of China, even legitimately made money, is becoming harder and harder and harder and harder. And with this new dispensation, unless they do something drastic, where they say, this is not the China anymore. Like, for example, Deng Xiaoping did. Do you think they have something like a silver bullet in their back pocket that they can do and say that we are a new China, something like that?
The whole issue is who's going to trust them. The issue is trust.
Yeah.
Like Deng Xiaoping's game was opened up early by Xi Jinping.
Yes, yes.
That this was finally going to be Deng Xiaoping's strategy game, maybe beyond 2050 or 2060, which was opened up 3-4 decades earlier. Now they are talking of Wen Jiabao and Hu Jintao talking about collective leadership and abiding by what the West says. But the issue is who will trust them. That you let them come up again the same sort of a thing can come up 20-30 years down the line. So they have decided that not that they will remove everything from China, but 3 major places have already been identified by the West and the US MNCs: Mexico, India, and Vietnam. 3 places they have identified. Some more may come up. I feel Indonesia may also come up, and maybe Thailand may come up. So some more countries are coming up. But these 3 they have identified where they are already shifting bases. Like today, as of today, the garment industry of the US and the West, the hub is going to be India.
Yes, yes.
Your garment, your food, your shoes, everything is going to be India, based in India, not in China or Bangladesh. It's over. So, like you were thinking initially off the record when we are talking about Bangladesh chapter is over.
Yeah.
Their survival was garment is gone. It's clear. It is here. Similarly, there are a whole lot of countries, like if you look at your electronics, they're coming here. Boeing, their complete AI-based logistic management system and their complete integration management system, the coding, everything is done here. How to get parts, how to move them, JIT sort of a thing, like what the Japanese used to say, just in time. That complete supply chain hub is made by India, which Boeing uses to manage to get its parts from various places and move things, their aircrafts and other things to various places, managing the timeline, the complete network which you make the diagram, everything is coding and done here. So they have identified these places. John Deere is shifted base completely to Mexico. We shut shop in the US. The MAGA, like I said, MAGA sounds nice, but is it cost effective?
Yeah. Very true, sir. Let's go to questions now. I'm sorry, sir. It might take a little bit longer. Let's try and keep the answer short.
No problem.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Let's go through the questions, please. Nikhil wants to know, आपने भगवान श्री कृष्ण की तरह हमारे मार्गदर्शन किया है, sir. I'm working in rehab field. Want to work elderly people. दिशा नहीं मिल रही है, sir. How to get guidance from you, sir? Want your guidance regarding the mobility solutions, etc.
Yeah, mobility solutions for the old people, you got to talk to the doctors and others how, because each has a specific requirement. It's
Correct,
not a
correct.
common thing. The most common things are available off the shelf in the market for guardrails and handrails at various places for them to get up and walk. Rest everything is individual specific. Someone has some mobility problem, someone has other mobility problem. And there is a whole lot of old age homes available everywhere. And you can do a survey. There are a lot of societies where old people are staying alone because the kids have migrated to various places. And see, our old people are also very stubborn and obstinate. They don't want to move out from their place. This is where they are. I faced a lot of backlash from my parents when I dragged them out and brought them to stay with me. It becomes difficult. Me and my wife and my maid who looked after them and my daughter, almost every second day we used to get a tongue lashing. But well, they are your parents. You got to accept it and accept the tongue lashing.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Very true, very true, very true. Somnath Bose wants to know your caption. Don't you think Pakistan is playing the most dangerous game of all time? Your comments, if possible.
See, that is how Pakistan has played always. So he is playing a game what he is comfortable with, ISI is comfortable with. That is the toolkit they know. There is no other toolkit that Pakistan knows. You take them out from this comfort zone to somewhere else, he won't know how to play that game. So yes, it is a dangerous game. He's played it for 20 years with them when ISAF and the US were in Afghanistan, and still feels that I can play. Good luck to him.
I think the famous statement Deng Xiaoping made was hide your claws, bide your time, or something like that, isn't it?
Yes, it was hide your claws, bide your time, and never take leadership.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful, sir. Thank you. Krishnamurthy Hunagund wants to know, with a Pakistani journal at the table, the Amrikis did a full cutlery audit before and after lunch. Later, White House staff reported that a few spoons had gone missing.
Only spoons? Only spoons? Few spoons?
Aprameya wants to know, Major General Rajiv sir, is Chabahar port sunken cost for India, or we can still protect our interests after a regime change?
Regime change will take a little time. Even today, the Chabahar port is your link. Anything that you're giving as humanitarian aid for the people of Afghanistan goes through Chabahar port. Very little goes through Pakistan. Goes through Chabahar port. And Chabahar port is the key link for the north-south corridor. So regime change will take its time. If you think just because this war has taken place and a regime change will happen like this, I don't think so. And I think the Western media is doing a biggest disservice to the people by giving airtime to the son of 𝗟𝗡𝗙. They are the most hated family in Iran. Let's be clear on that. The common man doesn't like them. Okay, his Sawak had wreaked havoc with the common man. So it's not that the people would like to be asked to choose between the devil and the deep sea. So I don't think it's a sunken cost. It's a long term.
Krishna Kishore wants to know, does this show caste racism in Muslims? Iran hits Israel, all Muslims celebrate. When India or Israel hit back, Pakistan or Iran are left in isolation. Shia and fake Sunni are third class?
No, this is called the Ummah. That is what it is, global Ummah. They don't look at boundaries. See, in one of my talks I had mentioned, why do the leftists also like the Islamists? Their thoughts match. Because the leftists also don't want any boundaries, beyond boundaries. They would like to have no boundaries and have a concept of like the Animal Farm, George Orwell, that one authoritative, no family structure, no nothing left. If you're individual, then that sole figure becomes the authoritative figure. It's easier to control. Islamists have already done that. There's nothing called the family for them. It's ummah. And if the mullah tells him to kill somebody from his family, he'll kill. Okay, for them also no boundaries. It is the ummah. So that is the only level where they meet, that no families, no boundaries. Rest, the thought process is very different. So I'm not surprised that when it gets hit, some of the Muslims come out on the streets. That's what they're taught from childhood.
Sir, I read a report somewhere that madrasas are illegal as per the Constitution of India, and that they can be banned anytime. I don't know when. Yeah. Because these are the places where actual education is not imparted, but hatred of others, that kafir thing, that's the main focus there.
Like madrasas are illegal. They have to take the permission and sanction and what is being taught. So at least in some states, you find the pushback that all the illegal ones are being closed. And a close monitoring they have started now of what is being taught there. So one thing I have always liked, while I may not like what the PRC does, but there are certain things they do well, wherein they say that if you have to become a theologist, something like what the Christians also do, that you first finish your schooling and then go down the theology part. Not that you are groomed from 6-year-old itself, only thinking on those lines. So you first finish your schooling. So if you have a well-rounded schooling properly taught, then you decide you want to still become a theologist, then you go and start learning theology in college. And then you become a priest, which I think is a better way to sort these things out.
Bobji wants to know, General, how does the armed forces determine that a missile was launched to target a certain city? For example, we demolished a missile that was headed towards Delhi.
Yeah, so when you track, you know the direction, you know the speed, you know the altitude, you can plot your ballistic path and you know where he is going. That's how you get to it.
Chaitanya Takle wants to know, how will alliance with USA affect Pakistan's relationship with other OIC countries?
When has Pakistan ever bothered about it? Or when have any OIC country even bothered about it? Bulk of the OIC countries have friendly relations with the Americans. So how does it matter?
General Narayanan, one question for you, sir. Is 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗪 still assisting Saudi Arabia in controlling the Yemenis?
Well, the Yemenis are out of control. And Rahil Sharif must be still sitting there and earning his penny, because Saudi Arabia is not doing anything. There's no battle going on. They're just exchanging missile warfare. Americans are firing, the Israelis are firing, the Houthis are firing. So he's earning his good penny and he's staying there. 5-star, 7-star life. Away from Pakistan, away from Limelight.
Ramindeep Manmeet, thank you so much. India plays both sides as well, Russia and the USA.
We don't play. He say our interest, if his interest is with Russia, we'll accept Russia. If the interest is with USA, you'll accept USA. That is strategic autonomy.
All of you should watch the Sunday program coming up with Sridhar Chityalaji, because we've been working on the data for that for the past 6 days. A lot of data will be shared. It's something that's new. So please do join us for that, because it is directly related to what he just mentioned. Akshay Iyer, thank you so much. Sir, are we supplying Barak 8 to Israel in wink way?
Barak 8 is Israeli missile. Yeah. It's an Israeli missile. They're making it themselves. Akash 8, our MR SAM is based on Barak 8. The medium range SAM that we have at the moment, which will get supplemented by Akash NG. The medium range with 70 to 80 kilometers is based on Barak 8, and now you're going to get your own Akash new generation, which will be having the same sort of. So why should we be making for them? Unka hai. their missile.
Thank you, Rahul Sharma. Pak got played. Plan was to save itself from Sindoor #2. If US gets airbase, India should still strike.
Noor Khan, didn't we hit Noor Khan?
Yes.
Didn't we hit
yes.
Malir? Didn't we hit 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏𝗏? You think the Americans were not there? You think we didn't know they were there? See, it's collateral damage. You
Correct.
come into war in a place where I am going to war with somebody else, and you still sit there, and you expect that I'm not going to hit you. Those days are gone. You'll get hit. And they are worried because close to 70% of the equipment today that you have, the platform may have been from the US or the West or the Russians, old platforms. You have upgraded it with your technology, and 70% of the equipment is homegrown.
Thank you, thought provocateur. Trump's lunch message to Munir, khao, khujao, batti bujao.
Munir must be most worried because the fraud democracy today has been exposed by Trump. He's called and he's openly said he's a good leader.
Yeah.
That means the army is running Pakistan. So
Yes.
that fraud democracy where they were trying to be the puppeteer behind the scene has come out in the front.
Correct. Very true. Very true. Shank Krishna wants to know, without the old neocons that helped prior Republican administration, how do you think Trump can make proper strategic decision? Actually, right now, even MAGA is against him.
See, look, the neocons are still there. But what can you do when you have your own American Pappu? You can brief him as much, like our Pappu. Trump will take off on a tangent on his own. I can brief Trump. Let us say I'm a neocon. I have briefed him. I have given him a script. And he goes there. And then he shoots the breeze. Can you change that? So we have a Pappu here in India, which the Congress gets worked up on every time, and they have to. I'm sure Caroline Levitt will be working the midnight oil to how to save Trump's statements.
Somnath Bose, thank you so much. 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗀, thank you so much. And that brings us to a close of today's program, a riveting session. And we'll be back with General Rajiv Narayanan on Sunday at 8:30. The three good generals will be back. Thank you so much, General Rajiv Narayanan. Sorry I was pestering you to come on. You know you were traveling. Thank you so much.
No problem.